can't give what you don't have. When you are talking about integrity, you are really talking about the real person, who that person is.
When you talk of integrity, you talk of honesty. To be honest. And to be honest means to be trustworthy, to be truthful. And politics is science and art of government.
Politics is about the people.
Yes.
And if you talk about it in a deeper sense, it has to do with how people take decisions on how to lead themselves.
Well, it's good to know you're there. Welcome to this week's episode of Christians in Politics. I am Korede Akitunde. Today on the program, we shall continue from where we stopped last week on the insecurity in our country. Later on, we shall also look into the army and Shiite clash in Abuja, and we wrap it up with the President Muhammadu Buhari's certificates issue. I'll be discussing with Reverend Canon Benjamin Agbejumeya, a priest in the Diocese of Abuja. Well done, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for coming. And an in-house analyst also is our own director, Civic and Political Affairs, Church of Nigeria, and the chaplain to the National Assembly, Venerable J.O. Onoya, is also in the house. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Now, let's move into the business of the day. The Nigerian police says it has arrested 93 persons who are involved in the crisis in Kaduna State, starting with the killings at the Kashuwan Magani area of the state. First Public Relations Officer Mr. Jim Omoshu disclosed this while briefing reporters on Monday in Abuja. He said a total number of 93 suspects were arrested in connection with the multiple killings and wanton destruction of public and private properties worth millions of naira in the state. He said the police spokesman added 43 suspects are currently being prosecuted, while 50 suspects in police custody are under investigation and will be arraigned in the court soon. Investigation is being intensified to arrest other suspects still at large. The governor of the state, after security meeting, has relaxed the curfew imposed on the states from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Venerable, this is the latest about the Kaduna story, which we started last week. And we talked about it last week that the chief was already being murdered, and maybe were you seeing vision or it's an information?
No, we already got information that morning. In fact, we got the information that morning that what's it called, the protest is trying to build up again. You know, the curfew was relaxed.
Yes.
And when the news of the killing of the king filtered in, the people started agitating again, and it was building up. So I believe it happened even that very morning before we came to the studio.
And the government is just reporting that over the weekend.
That is the situation we find ourselves in this very country. Issues are not reported as at when due, and sometimes properly. So I'm not in Kaduna, but what is the bottom line is that the king has been killed. I think that should suffice for now.
Reverend, let me get to your words on what is happening in Kaduna. In your own view, what do you think is going on?
Well, it's quite sad that killings everywhere without any action by the government in power. Because one thing we must note is that when evil men, killers, are given pats on the back when they perpetuate their evil without being punished by the government in power, you are already encouraging them to do more of the killings. Because when government is inactive, especially when it comes to the killing of innocent citizens, you as a government, you have compromised the security of the country. Because this is not the first time this kind of killings is taking place in Kaduna. Just last month, we heard of that of Jos. Some months ago, we heard of that of Zamfara, Sokoto, Benue, and so on and so forth. Even, some part of Abuja where some policemen were murdered. And you ask this question, all those who were arrested,
what has been done?
What has been done? Who has been sentenced to death? Even before this government came into power, there are many Boko Haram suspects that were under trial. Where are they today? The same government that is saying is prosecuting 50-something, some are under investigation, declared amnesty, and not only declaring amnesty for criminals, they released them into the society. And today, what are we getting in return? It's more of bloodshed, it's more of killing. And who will you blame? Because when the killings in Kaduna started, we can still have it at the back of our mind when the governor came out to say that he knew those who came to do the killings in Kaduna. He has settled them that they are from the neighboring country. Then it means that even the governor is at the center of what is happening in his state. So whatever that is happening in Kaduna today, I can say it's a state-sponsored terrorism.
Well, yeah. State-sponsored terrorism.
Yes.
I think we will just maybe before we let's hear two of the senators talked about this at the plenary at the National Assembly. So let's listen to the.
No, I think quickly before that, I know what my brother is trying to say. Using the terminology state-sponsored terrorism might be hyperbolous in this case, but I think it's for dearth of language. There's no other way he can really express his feeling about the way the state officials handle these matters.
Okay, I think we will build on that.
Yeah.
But I want us to just listen to two senators from the states talking about this issue at the House. Then later on, we'll listen to the governor too.
It is not the first time, nor the second or the third, and all along, nothing had been done reasonably. But for the fact that this thing happened in southern Kaduna, in Kaduna metropolis, I'm happy. It happens in Zamfara as well. If only things are happening in Zamfara and are happening in Kaduna, what is the comparing not like? If all those that are from Zamfara are all Muslims, and those from southern Kaduna are all Christians, is it a must that people should be dying in this form? Life is given by God, and nobody has reason for why life should be taken by a human being. All the happenings in Kaduna State is caused by the governor of Kaduna State, because she's not putting all the necessary things in place. The responsibility, he leaves them all, and of course anything that happens, he knows it and he pretends not to know. That's not supposed to be.
The Senate is invited to note the wanton killings which started earlier last week in Kasuwan Magani a suburb of Kaduna metropolis within the Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. Disturbed that there was ample need to draw attention of the Senate and the general public to the wanton destruction of lives and property that has been spiral in the last few days of the week, between last week till today. The Senate is invited to note the indiscriminate, senseless killings and insecurity that has pervaded Kaduna metropolis and environ, even with the curfew imposed 24 hours in town. The Senate is further to note that the curfew, while necessary to curb the excesses of the unwarranted movement of hoodlums around town, has failed to arrest the sporadic and incessant killings that has continued unabated, even as it is happening, or it happened yesterday night. Aware that the paramount ruler of Adara land, one of the second-class chiefs in Kaduna State, the Agon Adara, has been taken hostage within or in the past 6 days or so, along his own aides, for which the aides' bodies have been found within and around the vicinity where the paramount ruler has been taken hostage.
Those are two senators from the Kaduna. One, the first one is Senator Danjuma from Kaduna South, and the other one is Senator Ankui from the President North. And one can actually see that the security architecture or the security operation of this country seems not working. And I think we need to just look into that. One of the senators said, despite the curfew, the killings are still ongoing, despite the curfew. What should the government be doing?
Well, we are not supposed, we are laymen, we are pastors. We are not supposed to be the one to teach the government what to do about security. And when we say government, from my own personal way of looking at it, the government should have the political will, if we understand what they call the political will, to arrest situations and nip them on the bud. That is what my colleague here was trying to say, that if you kill and you know the government position or posture on killing is that if you kill, take an innocent life, you will pay dearly for it with your own life if you are found guilty. That is political will. And if government stand by that, that political will what will mobilize the security apparatus to go into action. Let's, for example, when the herdsmen were trying to do one or two things in Ghana, the president was very, very clear and unequivocal on his stand, and even said something that will look derogatory to us as a people when he said, this is not Nigeria, where cows walk on the street. So they should relocate because it will not allow such killings in Ghana. And I personally watched when the president has spoken, talking about political will, giving strength to the security apparatus. I watched the head of the police force in Ghana when he was giving a marching order to his men. He said, we are sending you into the bush to go and flush out the herdsmen, the killer herdsmen from our bush. And he said, but mind you, they are killer herdsmen. They have armed themselves with dangerous weapons. we are not sending any of you there to go and die. He say what that one means is that before any herdsman who is armed guns you down, you gun him down. So when you give people,
let me hold you very because we have a caller from Lagos. Simon. Hello.
I just want to comment on this issue of this killing.
Okay.
What I believe on it is that the nation needs God this time around, because the killing will not stop. We have not even come to the point of election area, but the problem now is going on everywhere. Not even in Kaduna. Here in Lagos, the same thing we are fixing. This killing, before it can stop, unless we all agree to live by the ways of God. God is warning us, especially in this country, because there is a lot of cheating within our leaders. That is where this killing keep on going in. And I pray that God will speak to us to know the standard of our way. That is where we can stop. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Simon.
I love your program.
Thank you.
Yes. So I was talking about the political will, which will give strength to the security apparatus. Now, on the part of the security, you see, we have a country where even when somebody has failed, he continues to hold his office. If the head of the military knows that if there's a failure in operation, he's going to lose his means of livelihood, he's going to sit up. I don't want to believe that all these people killing people all over the country really have more equipment than the Nigeria Army and the police, the DSS, all civil defense, all of them put together. I don't want to believe that they have outnumbered the number of people, men and people we have in our forces. I do not want to believe they have more intelligence.
But I think we need to look at that. Most of the time when these people wants to operate, you can see about 4 or 3 persons on a bike with AK-47, and possibly you are counting about 100 bikes entering into a village, and possibly you just have about 10 or 20 soldiers. They are the security stuff looks overpowered. Now,
if I may quickly just speak on that. The Kaduna we are talking about, last week we were talking about that somebody, I don't know who used the word, that the state seems to be one of the most militarized states, because almost all the big barracks or cantonments, whatever terminology they use for them, are all there. Are you telling me that it's the political will and the fact that there is a compromise somewhere? That's what I'm saying. As a priest, I will not allow what I know if the primate, who is my bishop, hears that the thing has happened in my parish, it will cost my job. I will not allow it to happen. I will not allow it to happen. For instance, last night around 7:30, I was just going around with the wardens in the new parish where I've just resumed work. As we're going around, inside the compound at the back, I saw somebody, two young girls, fetching water inside the compound. These are complete strangers, and in fact, one was even wearing hijab inside the vicarage in the night. I have to find how did you enter? Who are you? They can't even speak English. I don't want to tell you what I did to the security man. And all the security man could tell me is that their mama is very close to me. And he pleaded with me, no. He has compromised security. He must pay for it dearly. Yes. After dealing with the way I have to deal, I have to take another decision. Because we want to render service to the community. We have to take a decision on what should be done immediately to give the people outside the fence water.
Yeah.
Not that somebody should come and enter the vicarage in the name of fetching water or hijab in the night. When the same small girls are detonating bombs in the northeast. So it depends on the leadership of this very security. Now, for instance, when you are talking about bike, why are people riding skido bike in Abuja? Is it when president is going to airport that a skido bike should be blocking every person? Last week we were inside Abuja here. You needed to see how skido bike riders were harassing motorists because maybe one military, I suspect it may be one of the head of the military establishment that was passing. And you need to see the way they drive. You can see that these are experts. They can block anything they want to block. They can do anything with their bike and have their way. And the speed. Look at the number of power bikes that is flying about inside Abuja. Why can't Nigeria military give this one to soldiers that are well trained on anti-terrorism to mark these very people?
Okay, Reverend, you want to weigh into this before we move to another topic?
You know, first of all, we must understand this fact that presently Nigeria is the capital of the world extreme poverty. Now, you have the highest number of poor people in the world. And they say that the idle mind is the devil's workshop. An hungry man is an angry man. Now, when you have the high number of unemployed youth who are doing nothing, jobless, looking for every opportunity that they can exploit to advance their own cause. With a government that is not ready to obey court orders, that has compromised security, that is very, very tribalistic, that is nepotic in nature, that we treat a security issue with kid gloves, you now understand why there is insecurity in the land. Because you cannot build something on nothing. Look at almost all the states in Nigeria. Military are taking the role of a civil police in every state. Why? Because there is discontent, there is dissatisfaction, and there is serious aggression in the land as a result of inaction
from the government.
You understand? Because when we say what happened in Kaduna, the governor is the chief law officer of the state. In a situation whereby there is 24 hours curfew, and these killers with police, military, civil defense, or flooding the streets of Kaduna, and the people will still have the freedom to go from one street to another, carrying on their killings unchecked. You don't ask the question, what is the role of the police? What is the role of the military? Why the 24 hours curfew? And if there is 24-hour curfew and people are in their houses and somebody will come from nowhere with police on the street and they think that they have been protected, yet they are not protected, my brother, there will be reprisal attack continuously.
Now let's look at the curfew and the effects. On Sunday, Christians had to turn their homes to churches. Some had to watch, had to do their service online, and some people have reacted to the fact that because we still had some who went to their nearby church to worship, and some have said if there's a curfew, you shouldn't go out to to worship in church. What's your own view, sir?
Well, the joy in it is that, and I want the whole world to know, Christianity is a religion that cannot be destroyed. Jesus has come to establish a kingdom that will not be destroyed. So, if you prevent people from going to church to go and worship, their churches, their home will become churches. It will only give birth to more churches. Because that is how the early church grew. Most of the churches sprung up in people's sitting room and later metamorphosed into large church buildings. Yeah, if you go to my village today, when somebody said my junior brother should not do church in school compound because there's a policy, he just told me, can you allow me to be doing his church in the pineapple orchard in the front of the house? It has turned out to be a cathedral today in the front of the family house. So that is a number one lesson. And thank God for the electronic. That's why I'm not a part of those who are criticizing reading Bible and all these things from electronic gadgets and all that. Now, you can sit down anywhere, even in your office, and worship with your pastor in the church. They can be streaming whatever is going on in the church. And even as we are here now, people are watching us at home, and they can make their contributions. So that, to me, I want the enemies of the church to know that they will not prevail with violence against the church. They can only challenge the church to grow. The seed, the blood of the martyrs have always been the seed of the church. So they must note that.
Let's now look at, let's watch what the governor had to say on this issue of killing, the governor of Kaduna State himself.
Going to chase anyone away. So you must learn to live with everyone in peace and justice. What is happening here is totally unacceptable, and I have charged the security agencies and the authorities here, local and traditional authorities, to ensure that everyone connected with this, whether as participant or instigator or even watching while it is going on, is apprehended. And
I use my phone. I connected with my church online, and that cost me about 1 gig of my data. But it was interesting.
We, the people around here, we gathered here and worship God. So it is only the people that are around. We gathered and worship God. And it's good for us to worship, to pray concerning the situation of this country.
This issue of staying at home is not easy. And we are praying that this thing will not repeat itself again. So we really thank God for the for the coffee being lifted.
So you can hear the governor. What's your reaction? And then looking at how people have had to worship at home.
Yeah, what the governor said, that what is happening is unacceptable. But the question is, what deliberate effort has he made concerning what is happening? Because we cannot see any concrete effort made since he came into power to stop the incessant killings in southern Kaduna and even Kaduna metropolis. Because when you say what is happening is unacceptable, it means that you have answer to the problem, and your action will be very, very decisive. But when you come to the media and make such statements, and after making that statement, you go to home and you go to your house and relax without any action, it gives credence that you are not on top of the situation.
But I think the governor was out, even at night. So some people said he was out with the security men and also going around.
Can I come in at that point? I think the problems with our leaders is that they allow situation to get out of hand
before reacting.
If you see him speaking, with even psychologically, you can read that he is disturbed with what really is going on. You can see a governor that is worried and that is not happy with what he saw on ground. But the problem is, when these things were starting little by little,
what was being done?
What was being done?
In fact, the Christian Association of Nigeria's president was actually also asking, this killing that has been going on, what has been done over the committees that has been set up in the past?
Yes, these are the...
You know, one thing that is funny about the business of government in Nigeria, you know, when there are no crises like this, you will not have the opportunity to appropriate money for security votes, because security votes are not, they don't prove or give account of security votes. Because this kind of crisis, these are the opportunities where politicians, they take advantage of them to enrich themselves. Do you know the trillions of naira that has been spent in Borno? Do you know the number of people that have enriched themselves through the crisis in Borno? Do you know how many people that will make themselves rich through this crisis in Kaduna now?
Yeah.
Some will even want it to escalate. And they are members of the same people who are running the government. So when you begin to see situations like this, do not be surprised that politicians are at work. So to me, I'm not really surprised. I'm not really surprised. And that is why the government is not doing anything, paying lip service.
Well, let's leave this Kaduna issue and because of our time, move to another security issue, and that's the Shiite and Hammi clash. We'll take that after the break, but let me just give you an introduction to that. Members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria on Saturday and Monday clashed with soldiers in Zubanyaya area of the Federal Capital Territory, respectively, bringing tension and unrest to the city. The Nigerian army reacted to the confrontation that ensued between its soldiers and Shiite members in Zuba, during which members of the sect were killed, saying the Shiite attacked a convoy escorting ammunition and missiles from Abuja to its central ammunition depot in Kaduna. It was again gathered on Monday that trouble started again when soldiers at a military checkpoint prevented the Shiite procession from coming to Abuja, leading to a clash. Many of the members of this sect were said to have been shot in the incident. Why are they protesting? El Zazaki, the leader of this group, was arrested in 2015 after his members had a confrontation with the convoy of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuko Buratai, in Zaria, Kaduna State. And since then, he has been held in custody. Since the arrest and detention of El Zazaki, his followers have organized a series of protests in some cities in the country, calling for his release. Let's see some of the videos and then we'll come back to discuss this.
Good eye.
Ya kama soja dai na tubin shi Allah. Wallahi. Wallahi, ai roshin nasu dan uwar su. rush in just now. Nala. Don't on me, Nala.
Yeah, that was an amateur video of what happened at Zuba. Another one happened on Monday along Yanya axis, and that leads to more and more killings. Venerable, let me start with you briefly. What do you see to all this scenario?
Well, it's unfortunate that we have found ourselves where we have found ourselves. When I saw that video clip, I said, are we really not in war now in this country? We are already in war. And so it's a pity that we have gotten to this point. And it's sad. You can see the number of travelers that were caught in that very fracas that was going on between the Shiite group and the military. Any person could die in that very process. You saw how they were shooting sporadically. Well, some people have tried to blame the military for moving the equipment in the daytime and all that. And but for me, we cannot dictate to the security when they are to pass Nigeria roads or when they are to move their equipment. I don't support the people trying to condemn the military. Any person who decides to block a military convoy and is ready to try to disarm them to take their equipment and all that, with the situation we are in Nigeria, he deserves whatever he got on the spot, because if they have laid hand on those equipment, it will be a major disaster for the people in this very country. But we keep going back to the issue of error in leadership. For me, mismanagement of is it El Zazaki, that is his name, has kind of backfired already on this country.
Okay.
Shiite or Islamic movement of Nigeria is becoming popular by the day with what has been happening. Before this man was arrested and detained, it was not as pronounced as this. Okay, of what advantage is it to us now? You are keeping El Zazaki in one corner and it's making these people to come out by the day. They are being popularized by the day. Then, with what is happening, they are getting more sympathy from sponsors, especially in the Middle East. Trust the Middle East. Before you know it, you go and find out why these people keep coming out and they keep nations. I don't want to mention some particular nation. We all know them. In the Middle East, will be pumping in their money to sponsor these very people, to further disorganize and to press push their agenda forward. The way El Zazaki is being held is unconstitutional. As far as I'm concerned, these people didn't start protesting like this on the street until the law court, a duly constituted law court, asked that they should granted that man bail, but the government didn't listen. And in trying to disobey court order, which we keep saying is not right in a democratic setting for government institution to be disobey court order, any individual. In trying to do that, these people found an opportunity to troop into the street and begin to do what they are doing. With the killings in Zuba, Aziz, you would think that they will not come on. But the following day, they went to Nyanya Aziz. Only God knows whether it's Gwagwalada Aziz that will be the next. So we are already in a big security mess, and knowing the track record of these Shiites in the Middle East, in their fight against the Sunnis and all that, we are already in big trouble. So the earlier the government take hard decision to check these things, the better for us.
Reverend Kalam, what's your immediate reaction? The president has said that national interest comes first.
When we say national interest, that is the unfortunate situation Nigeria has found herself. Because in a country where you say national interest, who dictates national interests? Because if it's a country that has constitution, we have a government who has terrorized the judiciary, same government has terrorized the legislative arm, and now you say that national interest, even when the court has declared the release of that man and you refuse to obey court orders, it means that the courts in the land no longer have a place in the decision, especially as regards the freedom, fundamental rights of Nigerians. So the fundamental rights of Nigerians now is now being decided not by the law or constitution guiding the country, but by one individual. So the individual now has now taken the place of the constitution. Because let me say this, in 2014/2015, Goodluck is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, traveled on a visit to one of the states in the north. And he was stoned by huge armies of youth. Nobody was killed. Even with the chief of army staff, the chief of naval staff, and because whenever he's traveling, all these senior officers are always on his convoy. Nobody was killed. Will you tell me now that the chief of army staff is superior to the president of the country? Because they blocked his way, 300 men were killed and buried. And not only that, the home of El Zazaki and his family were burnt down, many killed. And this man was taken to prison, and the court decided that the man should be freed against the order of the court. You see here this man hostage, and you say interest. What interest?
But let's look at it. With all what has happened, is it proper for a procession to become a public nuisance? I mean, blocking highways.
Now, can I come in?
Okay. Now, where is the place of the police? What is the duty of the police? Because before you can carry out any procession, yes, it's the fundamental rights of Nigerians to carry out procession, to protest.
Do they need to seek permission from the police?
No, you don't need to seek permission from the police. But if you think that in the course of the procession, criminals will infiltrate the procession, then you need to inform the police to guard against criminals that will infiltrate.
Talking specifically on the issue and the activities of the Shiite, where it started in Zaria, and that incident that was referred to, I think something is wrong with the methodology and the operation of that very group. That if it is not checked today, it's going to set this country on fire tomorrow. Now, if you know when that incident happened, all the non-members of Shiite group in Zaria and in Kaduna, those who witnessed that very event, all were on the side of the army. And I watched a video clip where a particular television station sent out their people to go and sample the opinion of the indigenes of the area where that thing happened to find out what is happening. All of them said they have been in prison since that very group started operating in Zaria. That they blocked the road at will, they locked down everywhere, and in fact, they want to run the place as a different state. In fact, they operate as a state under a state. And they don't obey any rule or regulation. And they want to force every person to obey their own. For me, they went to the very extreme. You know, if we have to go into, because this is Christians in politics, we are pastors. Sometimes, even though it's a political program, we should sometimes counsel people. In my area, there's an adage. They say, when you do an abominable thing will happen to you. Mm. So I think what the Shiites are doing, their way of carrying out their activity is offensive to the constitution of this country. My own concern is the eventual mismanagement. The Shiite group, when that incident happened, they didn't come to Abuja to be protesting. Where the present government got it wrong was when first of all, they detained this man, and you detain person. It's not really, it's anti-democracy for you to lock up somebody just continuously without being tried. Somebody was saying of recent, there are so many people in different custodies in Nigeria today. Yes, they are not charged to court, and the Constitution says if you arrest a person within 24 hours or thereabout, or is it 48 hours, the person not more than 48, or the person should be charged to court.
We have a caller, Francis from Kaduna. Hello, Francis.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So the issue about I want you to comment on the issue about the Shia and the soldiers in Nigeria, about what happened in Abuja yesterday. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. We are with you.
Okay. The most important thing is that, you know, actually what the Shiites are doing is not good. But the most important thing is that Nigeria our government, you know, we don't have government. I can even tell you that what the era we are now, we are in military rule. So that when nobody will talk. It's unfortunate because those people, sometimes you can't blame those Shia Muslims because they are doing what they believe. But at the end, you can't quench fire with fire. Is everything you work with negotiation? All those advanced countries we are today, they are better than us. Then do some negotiation. Not that you see somebody block road and you come with fire to no. Don't do like that. You know, the problem we are now is that this our government. In fact, all of them, they have, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry to say that our government, our people that are leading us, in fact, they are working with dull brain. They don't know what they are doing. You can't fight somebody with at least they have Zazaki. The best, you know, this Zazaki was getting this problem with Abacha during that time. And you see the way when Abacha arrests Zazaki, when you see some protest, you release it. Before again, you are about this one, you just hold this man and leave this man, he refuses to leave this man. And this thing now is causing problems. We are in the north. We in the north now. Our life is in risk for all this kind of thing is happening now in Nigeria.
Thank you.
You
understand?
These
Francis.
these people are very there.
We just need to, in 30 seconds, just wrap up this as we move to the last topic for today.
Because, like our daddy said that if these people were not checked, Nigeria will be in crisis. Yeah. Is Nigeria not in crisis now? But that is one thing. Wait.
No, the management.
Wait, even if what happened to National Orientation Agency, if the way and manner they are carrying out their activities. They have leaders. The current president is from the north. What stops the president from bringing their leaders? What stops the National Orientation Agency to educate them? Is it by going on mass killing that we solve the problem? Remember when Boko Haram started? Because what we are seeing now will become a monster, and it has already become a monster. Because this was how Boko Haram started, when Yusuf was killed. And before you knew it, it became a problem.
You know, we are talking about mismanagement.
Yes.
See, I'm happy on mismanagement. I'm not trying to say that, trying to justify the force that the government is using. That's not what I'm justifying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is I'm condemning the mode of operation of these people, knowing their records in other countries, especially in the Middle East. Now, secondly, I am trying to say that government are not, in this country is not proactive. The first, if we have to go back, it is when they blocked the chief of army staff that this thing came out. But was there no government in Kaduna State when this thing started and grew to the point where the whole community and that area were in prison and government kept quiet because they have a set of a particular religion. They will keep quiet, allow it to grow horns before this. So mismanagement. You heard somebody said most of the people in the corridor of power have dull brains. They are ruling us like, you see, it's unfortunate. You know, well, in my area again, there's a parable. They say person wait for visit palace, you know, they see better agbada to where go. So the wrong people are the people leading us. That's why these are things that can be managed in a very little way. You were trying to provide some solution just now.
Yeah.
There are people you can penetrate, people you can use.
To talk to them.
To reach out to these people.
So I think it still boils down to what the caller said, Francis said, that dialogue can do some of these things.
It can go a long way.
All right, we move to our last topic for today. Buhari's certificate saga is on again. And the certificate of Mr. President came to news once again after many months. The failure of President Muhammadu Buhari to submit his academic certificate to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, as required of candidates for the 2019 election, has stirred reactions from Nigerians online. Hang on. We just have about 2 minutes to discuss.
It's unfortunate.
What's
in a country where you have professors and PhD holders.
Yeah, we are looking for
somebody. We are looking for secondary school.
Let's see a video before we just talk about this. Let's see a video.
Basically calling for the figures, the numbers of candidates submitted by political parties for presidential and national assembly. You would have noticed that shortly after you asked the question, one of the directors came over here. We are compiling the figures, so we hope at the end of this press conference we'll make this available to you. Then you asked if there was a submission from Zamfara State. INEC did not receive any submissions from Zamfara State. But beyond that, I won't say more because the matter is before the courts, and therefore subject. But we did not receive any submissions of candidates from the APC from Zamfara State.
Yeah, that was just the INEC chairman making us to know that there is no certificate from Mr. President. What's your reaction?
Well, it's quite unfortunate because if we are still dwelling on this certificate issue, and the spokesperson to the president on media, Femi Adesina, said those who are still dwelling on the issue of president certificate are idle people. You know, last time when the issue came up, the army authority came out to say that at the time the president was enlisted into the military, he was still in standard 6. He has not finished his standard 6 before he was enlisted, based on the recommendation of his principal and one of the first-class traditional rulers. So he did not join the army with a certificate. So when people are saying that President Muhammadu Buhari has certificate, first of all, WAEC is not a Nigeria affair. West Africa examination is all over West. So if the president says, if you can even go to Ghana and check it,
do the exam, or
you will see it. So the president does not have certificate. It's clear. It's not some. It's no. We should not be laughing. We should not be laughing over this kind of issue. Because it's very, very unfortunate that we find ourselves.
Do you know why I laugh?
Well,
Do you know why I laugh?
okay.
I laugh because of the war against corruption that this government said they are fighting.
Okay.
Because I'm laughing because this issue of certificate is coming out from minister to president to minister, from minister to another
No, that
minister.
tells you the kind of people.
So
kind of people
if
that...
I may quickly come in from
Okay.
there, you see, on a lighter note, why should we not laugh? We need to laugh, otherwise what is happening in this country will kill person. We just collapse and die if you are not ready to laugh. Because so many things that are agitating people.
A lot of money.
When I open, somebody was showing me something on phone this morning before we entered the studio, and where I saw some youths inside the pool of water, all of them half naked searching. They say they are searching for the missing certificate. I said, inside water today. So people just want to laugh over it. But on a serious note, the military said on that same briefing that there was one form that was filled later, where they saw Y certificate. They even mentioned all the different grade with F9 in one. Sorry, not F9, pass yeah. in one of the subjects. But they said they never saw the original, they never saw a certified copy from WAEC. So, which means, by that, if you press that point further, it might boil down to issue of forgery. This is where I tie it into the issue of war against corruption. That it's not something that should be swept under the carpet. But the joy in it, I learned that some people have gone to court.
Yes,
so
I think
let's not disappoint.
That's what the INEC chairman also said. That yes,
any person
anybody that
can go to court,
and
I believe one or two persons must have gone to court to challenge this.
And
issue.
I think even the PDP has had to court too.
Court for this. So it's important that they trash it out in court. If there's no certificate, there's no basis for running.
Okay, let's talk about the effort of the church at mobilizing for 2019 election as we just round up.
Yes.
What's the church doing?
The church is not relenting. We'll continue to talk, and we are talking. And as a director, we have been admonishing our fathers in the Lord, the bishops, and to direct their clergy and all those who are within their radar to continue to encourage members, and in fact everyone to go and get his PVC. The continuous registration has been put on hold for now. It's supposed to be a continuous thing, but has been put on hold so that they can manage the data before the election day. So people should go and collect their PVCs. There are bags and heaps of PVCs in INEC offices all over the country, and especially in the eastern part of the country, in the southern and western part of the country, we have thousands upon thousands of PVCs not collected.
So is the collection process on?
Yes, it's on. Okay. It's on. Okay. Everyone should make effort to go and collect his PVC. Okay. If they deny you, go for it. It's your power. It's your property. It's your right to carry your PVC. And it's your right to go out and vote on election day. No one should be discouraged. everyone should go and exercise his or her franchise come 2019 general election. It's the only opportunity the electors have to decide whether they are to congratulate this present government or to tell them that they have done well and give them a handshake and say continue, or to tell them you have not done well and you have brought trouble upon us, then to your tent, oh Israel, then vote them out of power. So we can't live with such an
30 seconds, we're out of time.
Yes, the church will do our best to mobilize our members to collect their PVC and also to vote, but it still depends on the government in power to create the atmosphere,
favorable environment
for people to cast their votes, because the kind of environment created in Osun, especially during the rerun, if it's created in 2019, it will spell doom for this country.
No, now,
all right.
Quickly, talking about favorable environment, in Anambra, complaint came to me that many people go to collect this PVC and they'll be demanding money from them before they can give them PVC. And we want to say to every Nigerian, if you go to any INEC official and is demanding for money before he can give you PVC, cry out. If you don't know where to go, come to ACNN studio. We release the whole thing to the whole world.
Yes, almost everybody has a smartphone.
Yes,
you can record stuff
and give it to us. We will blow it out for the whole world to see the INEC official is demanding for money.
Thank you very much. It's been nice talking with Reverend Canon Benjamin Agwijume. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you very much.
Well done, sir. And Venerable J.O. Nwaya, Daddy.
Thank you for listening.
We should possibly be here again next week. And God willing, be peaceful. And where you see there is trouble, look for cover. And we'll see next week. Thank you and God bless you. I remain your host, Korede Akitunde.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the guests and viewers and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN.